And welcome to another episode of Strangers in the Alps, a movie podcast, where every week we discuss movies. I'm Dan.
I'm Travis.
I'm Sam.
I've been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
3 seasons.
That would be Frank. And let's launch right into this thing.
To be frank.
Could you please, Travis, are you ready to read the back of the VHS?
There is no back of the VHS for the World Series game that's on right now.
Oh, by the way, yes, we are watching Game
3
of the World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees. It is right now. Oh, we went to a commercial. I think it's the bottom of the 8th.
Yeah, and by the time you listen to this episode, beep will have beeped the game.
And not only that, but the Dodgers will probably already be in the next season.
Top of the 9th, 1 out.
Top of the 9th, folks. Okay, read the back of the whatever it is.
All right, see if you can guess what movie this is.
I can't pronounce it, so.
Hoping
American Psycho.
to find the perfect place to live.
To find the perfect place to live.
Jurassic World.
Okay, you're getting a little annoying. Your Name.
Wait a minute. You have the nerve to say I'm getting a little annoyed?
Sam, they're doing a bit again.
I'm sorry, the Dodgers are on.
Hang on,
I'm a little on the edge. Hold on. Stop
Still
the
commercial.
podcast.
Go.
Game on.
Start over.
All
I'm
right.
sorry.
Hoping to find the perfect place to live, a couple travel to a suburban neighborhood in which all the houses look identical. But when they try to leave the labyrinth-like development, each road mysteriously takes them back to where they started. And the movie is Vivarium.
I have to say something.
Oh.
Before I do my pre-thought, and before you ask Frank, I didn't feel like at the beginning of the movie they were that committed to looking for the perfect place to live.
I didn't know that until I read this.
I think that's a really bad description of the movie.
I think it's someone's opinion.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Ask Frank.
It was just the general thing because I guess this goes into pre-thoughts a little bit. I had seen this movie before the podcast, but the thing is, Frank, I remember you're the one who told me to watch it. Why do I feel like I thought this movie came out in 2020? I thought it was a 2020 direct
when
to
did
stream.
It come out? 2021?
2019.
Oh, 2019. Okay.
I thought it was a hey, all the theaters are shut down, so we're gonna release it on streaming.
No, I think it was just before that, but
very limited.
It was edge of
Tomorrow?
of that whole thing.
But this was 2019 though.
It came out at Cannes in 2019.
It came
out in Ireland in 2020.
Ireland.
Yeah, if you
Ireland.
look at the breakdown of the money it made, it's almost
Made
all
nothing.
other countries. No, it made good money in other countries.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It did nothing in
yeah.
this country, which is shocking.
It's a commentary on this
Is it
country
though?
too.
Exactly.
It is.
Exactly.
That's why no one wanted to accept it.
Okay, so pre-thoughts?
I guess I'll continue. I had seen this movie.
Are you continuing or are you giving us your pre-thoughts?
Both.
Okay, great.
I had seen this movie. I had never heard of this movie until Frank said, "Hey, Travis, you should watch this movie, Vivarium. Don't look anything up." And then he's like, "I added it to Vudu." So I said, "Okay," and I watched it. And that's my pre-thoughts.
Okay, Sam, pre-thoughts?
I had heard of it before, but never really paid attention.
Is this your first time?
No.
Okay,
until
go ahead.
Travis was like, "Hey, you should watch it."
It's the gift. Hey,
Why wasn't I on this link?
And then he was like, "Don't read into it. Just
hey,
watch it."
Sam. So what you're saying? It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Why didn't you call me and say,
You know
hey, Dan,
why?
you gotta
You know
watch
why?
this movie?
I'm not even joking when I say this. I think this was right before. We're gonna give a little audience members. You're gonna get a little insight into the startings of Satellite 12 here. It was right before. Remember when all of us officially talked? I would say, "Hey, I'm talking to someone else, and we think we should do this," and it was just constant phone calls.
Yes.
And then one day we just merged everything. This was right before that.
So it was right at the beginning of the pandemic.
What does that have to do with anything?
Because
I'm just saying that's why we
I feel
didn't-
like we started talking in
No.
April of 2020.
Yeah,
like
we
right
watched this
after
in
the pandemic.
March. I'm saying it was right before we all started talking.
We launched this thing
But
early
you
in the
talk
pandemic.
to him all the time,
did.
so why didn't you tell him about it?
I don't know.
It was a pandemic, baby.
You didn't really you've never really recommended movies to me that much.
We just talk about older movies.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
saying it was right.
When I say older movies, I mean movies from 2-3 years ago.
No, you only recommended I remember you just told me to watch 2 movies, and now I've watched one of them. It was Ready or Not and A Simple Favor.
Oh no, the other one is the And God Spoke.
That was after.
I've been giving you and God spoke for you.
They're doing
long
a lot
time.
of
Have you
bits
seen
today.
it?
No.
Yeah, you'd love it.
Bits
All
and
right,
pieces.
Vivarium.
Vivarium.
Sam.
No.
No, no, Sam already did.
Yeah.
I
Frank,
said Sam just
Frank,
finished.
pre-thoughts. You birthed this movie, I feel like, for all of us to see.
Yes, I did.
Burr.
I shat it out.
He was digging in the front yard. And this
I honestly don't remember
I
how
can't
I
wait
heard
to
about
talk
this
about
movie.
that.
You what? Sorry.
I don't remember how I heard about this movie. I just remember
It
hearing
had little
hearing about it.
marketing.
Was it
I
like
saw a trailer and I was like, "This is fucking weird. I'm gonna see this."
Frank?
Mm.
Then I saw it.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
I
say.
can see that.
You said you don't remember. I was like, is it gonna be? Was it one of those like Thursday to Tuesday $5 deals on Vudu? And you're like,
Actually, you know what? I think it may have been on sale when I heard about it and bought it. I was like, "Oh, what great timing!"
thank you, Vudu.
Which is now Fandango at home.
Wait, so right now it's like 11 o'clock over
Yeah,
there.
in New
Oh my
York.
God.
Oh, no.
No, it's
Right? Isn't it in
11:30.
New York?
11:30.
Damn, that's late.
It's also
It's
the
baseball.
top of the ninth. Dodgers have one runner on with one out. Let's go, baby.
So
That-
after, if
That is Mookie
I'm not even
Betts.
gonna say anything. Okay, cool.
My pre-thought. I honestly had never heard of this movie.
Uh-huh.
I
Shocker.
knew nothing about it. I looked it up before I watched it. I didn't read anything, but I just looked it up. Just the title. I saw that Jesse Eisenberg was in it. I don't even know the other actress who was in it.
Imogen Poots.
And
Yes.
I just went, okay. I mean, I didn't read anything because I like to follow the rule of don't get any,
Don't ask, don't tell.
Although I would like to talk about that as
The
we
don't
talk
ask,
about the
don't
movie
tell?
because I think
Oh.
this is one movie I actually wish I would have read about before. But I'll explain that later. So I had no
For-
opinion, nothing.
For Dan's live reaction, watch previous episode, Black Swan, where Dan has no idea what this movie is. You get that live reaction. Listen to last week's episode on Black Swan, and you get to hear Dan going, "What movie? What was that? What movie is this?"
What?
Exactly.
Are those words you're saying?
But I feel like that's like 90% of the time.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm
do we need to maybe do a little better description of the movie? Besides
I think
that,
we need
that
to
was not
describe
a,
this
that's
one
not
a
a
little.
good.
Dan, what's
that's
it about? Just
Yeah, I would prefer, actually, to be fair to the listening audience, I would actually prefer Frank to do a layout of the story. Just something for context, Frank. I know you can do this better than I know you do it better than me for sure.
I think what might actually be fun. and-
Okay, I don't know. Is your name Frank?
no, not even. I think after Frank goes, I might try to.
No.
Also
No, you
Explain.
won't.
No.
Frank, I think you can
Because
do
that's
this.
part of the story.
Frank will keep it simple. You will make it
I won't. I'll keep it in 3 sentences.
simple.
I'll do it in 3 sentences.
You
Yeah.
know what's funny? You do it, but then you explain your 3 sentences, so it doesn't really matter.
But that's not. That's
Okay.
different.
It's
Go,
the
Frank.
Jack in the Box
So
approach.
do we not want Frank to do it?
Frank, go ahead. I'll go after him.
Good. Frank.
No.
Wouldn't it actually make sense if you did it and then I just summarized?
Okay,
Yes,
That's
let's
yes.
do it.
right. Okay,
Yes,
fine.
that's a great
Okay,
idea, Frank. I
so-
should have thought of that.
This movie is
He's looking
hoping
something
to
up.
find the perfect place to live. A couple travel. No. So this movie is essentially about. It's a commentary on suburban. No, I don't do IMDb because
Well,
it's.
no, I didn't
I
ask.
switch.
I didn't ask for a commentary. What it's about? It was actually give us a better definition of the
A plot,
storyline.
Yeah.
Okay,
A
yeah.
plot line.
Well,
not,
I'm saying.
not the metaphor of it. I'm not
Okay.
interested in that.
I'm just saying
that
it's,
we'll talk
okay,
about.
it's about a couple that buy a house and they buy a house and they go into the
Actually,
neighborhood.
they don't buy the house.
Well, I mean, they're looking at the
Oh
house.
my
They're looking to buy the
God.
house.
They're
Did you
looking
watch
to
the movie?
purchase a home.
Yes. And
Already, Frank's doing
no,
better.
because you all are staring at me. So they go to purchase a home. They meet the realtor. They
asked
look
for
at the
this.
house and they can't leave. So they just stay there.
They can't
Not
get out
by
of the
choice.
neighborhood.
They can't they can't get out of the neighborhood. The roads lead to nowhere. They keep circling back. They run out of gas. The sky looks fake. That's why they're just forced to stay. Basically,
All the houses look the same.
All the houses look the same.
And then suddenly a baby
And then
appears.
suddenly a kid appears. They end up having to just raise the kid, and
Because
then,
that's the way out.
and that's the way out. And then just
I mean, I think that's good enough.
Yeah,
I just
see,
think
I
we need to
told
lay
you.
it out. Frank,
Yeah.
do you have anything to add to make more sense out of that?
Yeah, okay, so this is what happened.
okay.
No, so he got the basic points
I
right.
think so.
This couple is looking for a home. It's not like super, like they're kind of, going about it like, I guess when we find a home, we'll find a home.
That's
But,
that's how I felt. I didn't feel at all that they were like looking for the perfect
And it's very
thing.
much they go in like the almost like the TV show, like sitcom looking like realtor office.
Yeah.
Or it looks like well, we forgot though the importance of the first shot where you're just looking at nature.
You're looking at what kind of birds?
The bird, yeah.
Cuckoo.
No, cuckoo birds. Thank you. I thought that was a really cool shot, and it actually did make sense to me as I got into the movie. But it was still a cool opening shot.
Talk about it.
And are you done, Frank?
Oh yeah, I was just.
I don't think we're at the point where we can talk about that.
Well, I mean, I think we can start talking about some of the metaphors, and now that we've explained kind
This
of what
film
the
has
movie's
metaphors?
about.
How many layers?
How many layers?
I mean, unless you have somewhere else you want, unless someone wants to give backstory about the movie. If anyone has anything,
I have some backstory, but I'll bring it up once we've talked about the themes a little more, because it has more to do with that the cuckoo the original shot.
Because I'm ready.
Yeah,
for me,
for sure.
For me, I thought we were gonna go to explain the setup so we can explain the metaphors.
Sure, we can do that. Go
Okay.
ahead. Start. Jump in.
You said you had something about that first shot.
Oh, you mean what? I mean, it's funny because when I watched the movie, even though I was keenly aware that these were metaphors and there was a lot of layers to this, I kind of watched it sort of straight up. I just watched the plot and just kind of took it in without really thinking about, well, that really means this. This is what this is really all about. I just chose to kind of watch it. And I think that's why I got more out of the movie after I read about it than I did while I was watching it.
And
Honestly.
And that's why I kind of like. Well, that's why
There
I
were
like.
so many things that happened after I saw the movie. There were so many things I read about that made me go, oh. Not that like I was being an idiot watching it, but I mean, for example,
Did it like verify? What
I
you were
didn't even
thinking?
know what Vivarium even meant.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps I should have looked that up.
Well, I think
So I at least know what that word is.
I think
That would have told me a lot about what I was watching. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think some of the reasoning
You
is
learned
because
something.
I'm just
I
gonna.
mean, the very definition of the word tells you so much about the movie.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna
Look
bring
it
up.
up.
I'm
I
gonna
can
bring
look
up
it up.
last week's movie as an example. I think the difference with this one and the symbolism is Black Swan. The metaphors and the themes are very much. Not saying they're not fully in Vivarium, but I think in Black Swan they're very much there in the center of attention.
Surface level.
Surface level. Well, on Vivarium, it's these are themes I can explore later, or you can explore them.
For sure.
It just doesn't feel as heavy-handed or surface level as Frank said. Scholar Frank Bennington. And then I think
Yeah.
the obvious big one, and it's why I think I really liked the metaphors in this movie because, me growing up, I didn't grow up in the suburbs too much.
No, you didn't at all.
but
Well, I mean,
it's sort of, but I
even
feel like
Valley, I guess it's pretty urban.
it's me.
Though.
It's
Valley's
more like
pretty
me.
urban.
It's more the Midwest of LA. Like the
But
Valley.
where does this movie? Where do you think it takes
I
place?
think. Well,
I don't think it has
It
any.
doesn't
I
have
don't
it
either.
But I
It
think
didn't feel Midwestern. It felt like
No,
I don't know where I am.
Well, I think it's just a commentary on like that suburban life itself, like those big suburbs, that they building and you build everywhere. Everything kind of looks
That
the same.
cookie cutter.
The cookie cutter, and
American
I
dream.
think that is a real phobia, and it's a real fear of people like living in suburbs. Like they can't do it, they don't like it because like everything looks the same, and it kind of like it's very.
I think that's like a city person's view of like a suburb.
Yeah.
If you
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs, and they didn't look like that. So
I think it's just
I don't-
someone's fear.
I think it's. I guess
Because
when
I
they go into the whole alien thing, like when I was reading about, like on Reddit and things like that, like people's like blog conversations, got very heavily into this whole alien thing. Well, it's just this is like an alien.
There's
just
two-
aliens
yeah,
that are
there's
just
two
growing
aliens.
aliens, and that's all this is. This is just a a place where they're putting humans in to raise their alien person, then they get rid of the humans, and then that alien is released, and then we get to another alien, and that's what all these things were talking about, and I was like, wow, that's interesting.
And
I wish I would have really even thought of that.
I was just thinking more of it like a cycle of life.
And that's what
For sure.
exactly.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what I think it is. It's like it plays on this, why do families and why do couples usually move into the suburbs? Is to start these families.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, it's nice. It's all these neighborhoods. So I think that's why, and like you said, it's a commentary, like you said, about just.
But why? Okay, and maybe I'm wrong. So you please stop me. I'm not trying to read it. Why is that a negative thing?
I don't.
Why does the movie, from what you're saying, it sounds like you're saying that it's trying to approach that as a bad or negative thing.
No.
I think it's more like the two characters aren't ready for the life, and I took it as like, when she spoke to another teacher or a parent, and she was like, yeah, get into the housing market now. It's like people around her are pressuring them to like get a house, start a family.
I don't feel like there was enough background with these two people for me to really understand
But they kind
any
of
of that.
They're like, okay, well, I guess the next step is to find a house. So let's,
No,
go to the
I hear
real
what you're
estate
saying,
agent.
but I didn't know these people at all. And by the way, I never got to know these two people
Yeah.
in the story ever.
That's one of my problems.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of my problems too.
I
well.
don't think this movie presents it in a bad way. I'm sorry, I should have made it more clear. I was saying just the way I perceived it, and just
No,
me.
no,
I'm
that's
saying
fine.
I'm saying my dislike for suburbs is
Wow.
what. Yeah.
Wow. Judgy much.
Yeah. Judging McGee over here.
So Frank,
about
you
you,
haven't
Frank?
really
What do you
talked
think?
much. Tell us your
He's really into
He's
the
watching
game.
the Dodgers.
early
Yeah.
kind of. I mean,
Well, I mean, since you guys already mentioned it, I would also agree. I feel like we don't get enough of a baseline for the two characters. Like, you get a couple of basic personality traits, their general relation to each other, but there's not a lot to build off of. And that's something that I wish we would have seen more of as the movie goes on, because they spoiler alert. Or, I mean, I'm jumping ahead, but like at the end, they do give you that story about how they met, and I feel like that would have been something that could have moved earlier.
Yeah.
Because I mean, by that point, it's kind of late.
Do
But-
you?
Yes, continue.
No. Do you?
Are you done?
So I'm done with that specific thought, but
Well,
I wanna
mine
know
kind of goes into that because apparently, like the director was talking to some people last. I don't know a lot about the Mormon community, but I guess some people were saying that it's a commentary on the Mormon community.
Oh, I didn't read anything about that.
what?
That's too much.
I
Yeah,
heard nothing about
That's
that.
too much.
yeah. It says right here. It says
Is it by the
What-
Mormon
what,
website?
What are you looking at? What is the?
the director
Oh, okay.
had a precise idea for the. Oh,
Okay.
okay. He had a precise idea for the world. He had a precise idea for the rental employee in the world of Vivarium. The reference was the Mormon community.
Yes. We just won Game 3.
Wait, how do you know?
Because third out.
Final.
I don't know what
4-2.
that means.
That's the final score.
Game's over. 4-2.
Oh, because he caught it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we needed the third out.
Nice.
We
So
are-
then tomorrow.
the Dodgers are up 3-0.
So the Dodgers
We
just
could
need one
end
more
this
win.
thing tomorrow.
Damn.
It's
that's
the best out.
crazy.
It's the best out of 7.
Yeah.
And for those of you
Yeah.
listening, it's probably the middle of March.
That new season's starting already.
That is fantastic.
But also, I was thinking like maybe we don't know much about the two humans because they don't necessarily want us to like know about them, or they don't know much about themselves either.
Like, do you think they're just?
they're undecisive or they're not
Do you-
clear?
Do you think they're just supposed to be like, oh, stock parents for this kid? You know what I mean?
I mean,
what am I supposed to be? I hate to say this. It's going to sound so
Bougie.
basic Hollywood. What am I supposed to be rooting for in this movie?
I don't think you're supposed. I think it's
And
just for me. What I took away was like it's just a bleak look at how a life
Yeah.
is.
How
And
boring
but-
a life could
yeah.
be.
Are we agreeing that there is a major it's an alien factor in this story, right?
Yeah,
I
there's
don't-
two aliens. There's two of them that
There's
we know
Martin, the alien who
The
takes them
realtor.
there, and then
The kid.
who then becomes Martin at the end.
of. Yeah.
So the question is, are we just recycling Martin
Yeah.
I
Kind
guess
of, yeah.
so. They bring in this.
And what
I think there was also a theory out there that the neighborhood itself is also like a creature, a thing, and that it's the real thing that births these like babies,
Interesting.
which I think is interesting and also kind of like creepy.
Well,
weird,
do you
but
think that
I
time-
thought the kid was so cool and
young
creepy.
young
Oh my
Sheldon?
God.
The older one I didn't care about.
Just the voice
but the
that he
kid,
had.
the way
yeah.
they modulated it, made it
Ugh.
like really.
Yeah.
That was cool. Once it became a guy, a grown up, I was not that interested.
I
anymore.
remember texting Frank because, like I said, I knew nothing about this. He said to watch it, so I started watching it. And I remember texting Frank. I was like, "What is this weird young Sheldon looking
True.
creature?"
You're right. It is like young Sheldon.
They did
But-
really good.
Yeah, Frank. To go back about the theory about the neighborhood itself being a creature or this thing that's birthing, do you think that maybe even ties into the whole Jesse Eisenberg like digging?
Mm-hmm.
Can someone explain that to me?
That's
'Cause
what
I
I was trying to say.
really-
'Cause that one I didn't.
I
fully-
don't get the digging metaphor. I don't get it
Just
at
trying to
all.
find a way out. If you can't
So-
get out, so just dig.
But I mean,
I'm kidding. I don't know.
No, but I mean that I did think of. But
Mhm.
if we're looking at this movie as one layered metaphor onto another layered metaphor, which is kind of what I'm assuming it is, I don't get that metaphor.
Is it maybe
Digging his own grave.
There
That's
you go.
what I
didn't
had
think
written
of that.
down.
or
I didn't think
maybe
of that.
yeah.
That's cool. Oh,
yeah.
I should look at my notes.
I was thinking that too,
That's
or
so
maybe
funny.
even
I actually have notes.
like you said too, trying to like find his way out. It's like the dad, it's like, oh, I don't want to, because the dad from the start doesn't like the kid,
Mm-mm.
No.
doesn't want.
I didn't either.
But
Yeah.
also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. I feel like I read somewhere that moms they tend to become like, they get motherly instincts like right away.
Yes.
With dads, you kind of just have to
Yes.
Learn
and you
that and-
see that in the movie for
Yeah.
sure.
right, because the mom, she keeps saying that I'm not your fucking mother, but like, she feeds them whenever he literally cries for it,
Exactly.
and yeah,
Can we just give a moment to Saban? This is literally the company that made Power Ranger, the TV show.
And the Power Rangers movie.
you know what? They're
I mean,
freaking.
this is the Power Ranger
Their
people.
freaking office is in North Hollywood. I didn't know that.
It used to be on Wilshire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Years
It's
ago,
right
I wrote for one of their shows,
Mm.
which was Mystic Knights of Tirnanog.
Huh?
Yeah, Mystic Knights of Tirnanog. It was kind of a Power Rangers in
Mhm.
a medieval time.
Mm.
It lasted one season. It wasn't very good. And I wrote 2 episodes.
Nice.
So I contributed to the badness of it all.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, the Saban guy, I mean, they're still around doing
Yeah.
stuff. But they were so that cheesy, import kind of action TV show thing. And now, well, not now, but I mean, I guess they're
Also doing this.
making movies.
Oh yeah, it's right by the Lemley.
Yeah, right
it's,
behind it.
it's been
I mean,
there
they're
for.
not A24, but
No, but I think that's the thing is I think Saban was making a comeback with Power Rangers, the movie in 2016 or 17. And then I think they also didn't they do, they might have not like Fighting with My Family or Fighting for My Family.
Girl, I don't know anything about Saban, so can't
I'm
help
just
you.
I mean,
saying,
they've
yeah.
done a bunch
So
of
he-
stuff, but
oh
it's
yeah, they've done a bunch of stuff.
nothing big.
But mostly it was all TV and even animation. Here's my first few notes, which this is all before anything really happens to them, like getting lost. I'm like, okay, so this real estate guy is super weird, which makes this whole concept super weird. Honestly, I would not buy a house from this guy.
Mhm.
So that was right.
They
I
don't.
wouldn't even go, but I wouldn't even gone in the car with this
Yeah.
guy.
Walk right out.
Nobody would move into this neighborhood. I mean, nobody. And this is before they're even stuck in the neighborhood. This is like just looking at it. And this real estate guy's a freak show. So that was the first 5 minutes. I was already not buying in,
You know who he reminds
even
me
though
of?
I get, what good.
Sorry, he reminds me of Willard.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
100%.
That's it.
Good call.
Thank you so
Um,
much. And that's
so-
why creepy.
Yeah, but it was creepy in a way. You know how sometimes movies present themselves in a creepy way where you also kind of go, well, I don't really see a way out of this moment. This was creepy, like, no, I'm good.
Right.
I'm not even getting in the car with you to go see this
Yeah.
house.
No,
Yeah.
not even in the car. They followed him. They could have just
the whole
driven
thing
him
was
away.
just not working for me. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole setup was not working for me.
The situation doesn't present itself naturally. There was very much in the situation they saw it starting and could have left.
And
So they weren't stuck.
It also felt very much. I did not really look at any research about the director, Frank. Do you have an insight on the director? writer. Was it writer? No, it's just director.
He wrote it too.
No, he wrote it too.
So
But it's
Lorcan
based on a
Finnegan.
short story,
this movie
no?
felt two things were my reaction to this film as I was watching. One, this could have been a short.
It was based on a short
did
story.
not need to be a full-length movie.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it felt very foreign. Like this could have had subtitles, and I would
I
have
think
totally
part
bought
of
into it.
some of the production companies are Irish and
Right? And when I
and
looked at
something.
where it was released and where it made its money, it
Mhm.
was all in Europe, all European
but I
countries.
agree with you. It really did have a foreign.
Did you?
Goddamn.
Totally. Kind of like
Huh?
I just looked up the director.
kind of
What?
like
What?
last
Irish.
week's movie as well.
I did.
The Black Swan, totally like a foreign movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have seen
And
that.
he's Irish. Hello.
Irish.
Look at that Irish man.
Oh, he's after me Lucky Charms.
So
Yes, he is.
Dan,
Thank you.
because you
100%.
we actually got the bird wrong in the beginning.
It's
So
not a
if we,
cuckoo?
if we can believe
I don't even know what
IMDb,
a
The babies
And we
were
don't.
The babies were cuckoos. The big bird was
a brood.
Big Bird.
It was
It's-
a
What the
bird
hell's a
was-
brood?
It says here, if we can believe IMDb, the opening sequence displays the activities of an avian bird brood parasite, which rely on other birds to raise their young. The brood parasite manipulates a host of the same or another species to raise its young as if it were its own, using brood mimicry?
mimicry.
For example, by having eggs or pudgy weird babies that resemble the host. This behavior relieves the parents from the investment of rearing young. Some bird species mitigate the risk of egg loss by distributing eggs among a number of hosts.
That makes sense now.
However, if I may say, let me put my headsets back on. That totally makes sense. However, how would we know any of that
I wouldn't have
watching
known.
the movie? So therefore, you don't gain that knowledge by watching the movie. There's no explanation to it. Why do I have to do research about a movie?
This movie
I
is
like
To make
actually.
them- no, but you know what I mean.
This
I shouldn't have to
movie-
watch a movie and then go, okay, now I got to research to figure out what the hell I just watched.
Well, I mean,
But
I
here's the
think
thing, though. This movie is made for bird watchers.
I think
I-
I don't fully
Before I laugh, are you serious?
I don't fully agree with that statement. Then, like, I understand.
Okay, cool. You don't have to.
No, in that statement, I don't. I would say I don't. I agree with you if I watch a movie and have no idea what was going on, and someone's like, "Oh, well, you have to read about it and then explain, and then watch it again, and then you'll understand
of course.
it." But I
But
feel like
think this movie kind of fits that category.
I mean, you can kind of, what the series of events of what's going on. Like, there's clearly,
Right. No, you're right. So I
But
mean, the
to
plot,
further-
the plot is not confusing.
and that's
What's
what I mean.
confusing is why.
Why bird?
It's
Why am I?
Yeah.
What's going
it's
on?
lack thereof plot that people explain. You have to read about it. That's what I don't. But I
I
mean,
agree. I
always.
agree.
But then again, I always feel like there's fun in, you don't sometimes fully understand certain things, and you discuss it with people. You look at it, and then you watch it again and just figure out stuff on repeat viewings.
I will say this.
Would you watch? How many times have you seen it twice?
Yes.
I will say this in defense.
I've also only seen it twice.
in defense of what you're saying, I
Oh.
will say this.
Okay.
After the movie was over, my first thought, which was how I felt about the movie, was this is going to make an actually really interesting conversation. And I got excited about the podcast because I thought, okay, this is a movie that we're going to have a lot of fun talking about. Regardless of what I feel about the actual movie, I was excited about getting together and talking about it.
Regardless.
So I agree with I'm agreeing with what you're saying. I'm not sure I agree that this movie
Oh,
fits,
no.
fits what you're saying.
And-
I think this movie was too far off the mark to where, yes, it made me want to read about it, but only because we were doing a podcast.
Right.
I just meant
I
about
wouldn't
films
have
in
done
general.
it otherwise.
I wasn't saying this was the poster child example.
No, and I know you don't mean that Iron Man you got to go read about after you see it. I know what you're saying. There are movies that compel you to investigate about them because you're compelled to, because you're interested. I'm not sure this movie fit that category. I was interested because I knew we were going to talk about it, and so when I did start reading about it, I found it way more intriguing than I did actually when I was watching it, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. Yeah.
So if we weren't doing the podcast and you had just been suggested the movie, would you have still looked it up afterwards?
I would have probably looked up the director just to kind of get a little background on
Just to look at those baby
the
blues?
movie. You know what I mean? Like, what was the deal?
Yeah.
But you wouldn't do a deep dive like you did.
I wouldn't do a very deep dive, but as I did a shallow dive, I got deeper because I
You
went,
fell
okay,
into,
this
you
is,
fell
this
into
is,
it, yeah.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't make me like the movie more or less, but it makes for a good conversation. I think this movie is definitely worthy of a good conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that goes into also, it translates to what Travis was saying, that there's films out there that will ignite something in you to search it up, and it does
Yes.
lead to a very good conversation.
Yes,
So
for sure.
films like these, I think they're fun no matter, like, I can tell this is going to be a split,
Oh, I'm sure.
Opinions?
yeah.
I'm sure, of course.
But the fact that we're talking about it, it's
Is
fun.
great.
Yeah,
Right.
just like Climax.
I read
I was thinking
Just like
about
that.
that too.
I read one blog I thought was so funny. I almost tried to save it so I could read it to you, but I can paraphrase it. Somebody blogged said, "I hate Jesse Eisenberg so much."
Was that you? Because that's what you said last week. You're like,
That
I don't
I-
want to watch it. I hate Jesse
And
Eisenberg.
I can't even rate this movie because I hate him so much. Which I think is funny because I don't have a real strong opinion about Jesse Eisenberg, but my general opinion is I really don't care about
See,
him at all. I
my-
mean, he gives me nothing as far as like
Okay.
I
a
don't think-
feeling of positive or negative. I get nothing from
Yeah.
You're
him.
neutral.
Yeah,
first
but
discovered
not in a positive way.
I first discovered Jesse Eisenberg in Zombieland.
Oh, of course, me too.
And I liked him. For me, I'm like, he's like Michael Cera. He's like awkward. And
He's
then,
an edgy Michael
yeah,
Cera.
Very
and then,
similar.
And
You're right.
then
Very
I
similar.
really started to like him when I saw The Social Network.
Yeah,
I was like-
that was a good movie.
And then
Really good
after
movie.
that, he kind of just flatlined for a while. And
died?
For me, always flatline.
Well, I mean, flatline
He was not
is,
good in
is
any of those
no,
movies.
No, as in like
His
my,
career or his you
for me,
liking
for
him.
I
right.
never. And then he did like Lex Luthor, which was a little campy
You
for
can't
me.
forget about
You
Now
know
You
who he
See
based
Me.
Lex Luthor off of?
Who?
Max Landis.
Oh damn!
Oh, I can see that.
Apparently, Max
and-
Landis likes
I
to
don't
go to my
know.
theater.
So Frank,
He is not the
Yeah.
reason I like
So-
Zombieland at all.
So he kind of like flatlined for a little bit, and then my interest in him went up a little bit when I watched The Art of Self-Defense.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
I
and then
remember-
from then on, he just
wait, was
whatever.
he in The End of the World? This is the end.
No.
that was
No.
Michael Cera.
Oh, God, that scene is freaking hilarious.
Go ahead. No, continue.
No, I was going to say, he is not my Zombieland. Social Network for sure,
Yeah.
but not Zombieland. That was everybody else but him. I thought were.
He was kind of like the not really the. He's not really the straight man, but he's
No,
like
but
the least interesting
he was-
one of the
He was
four.
kind
I-
of the center of
Yeah.
the story. Not center, you know what I mean? He was kind of the grounding character.
I liked that. Like for me, I think it's because this is before, and it got too much. I think when I first saw him, I kind of liked him because I liked his like humor, and I was like,
It's
oh, kind of
dry.
the awkward, dry. I thought he had some good lines in it. I think he did well for the part, but like I said, outside of that, that's what I said. I would never feel like I would just watch a movie for him, but I thought he did, like you said, he did good in Social Network. He did good in Zombieland. I forgot about him for a while. He was Lex Luthor, whatever about that. And
Lex
then
Luthor and what?
Batman versus
Batman
Superman.
versus Superman.
Never saw it.
Oh,
I think-
he's strange.
I think for me, like he doesn't.
gotta-
He's so expressionless.
Just like this.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know.
I agree.
For
I agree with you.
it works sometimes. Like Zombieland and Social Network, but then like, what else can you do if you're not going to be so expressive?
He looks like he's always zoned out, and it's like, are you paying attention to what I'm saying?
So he was
Huh?
great at Adventureland.
Exactly.
How did he
oh,
compare to
I liked Adventureland.
Yeah.
I
how
like
did
that
he
one.
compare to Gene Hackman? Gene Hackman was great as Lex Luthor.
Well, that was also a great movie.
No,
Damn.
it was not a great movie, but you know what I mean? I can't even imagine Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I
It
can't
dep-
imagine that.
It's
stammering,
strange. Like he does this
stuttering.
weird like. They play him as like an oddball like genius with
Yeah.
a dark
Here's the thing.
undertone. It's
His interpretation is interesting, but it's for the wrong movie because you
Yes.
have Zack Snyder, everything has to be bleak.
Should have been a streaming series origin film about Lex Luthor.
Even if it was like the TV show.
I may have
because
actually
we
watched
need that.
No, Dan, because
would watch
this
that.
is the last, and then we can move on. You know who Lex Luthor had weird casting last couple years? Do you know who played Lex Luthor in the TV show iteration?
No.
John Cryer.
Oh my
Ew.
god.
Really?
Bald. They shaved his head.
That
No,
is
he had a beard though, right?
No,
Yeah.
John Cryer's been bald for a long time.
I don't remember.
He
that.
wasn't bald in 2.5 Men though.
Yeah.
No, he
Wig
was.
snatched.
Oh, he had a
Wig?
toupee.
First they were doing like fiber stuff, and then he was wearing a thing. I actually saw him. I'm so glad this came up. I was at the ArcLight in Sherman Oaks back when it was
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
like cool to be the ArcLight.
Yeah.
And as we were leaving, we were going down to the basement to get our car. John Cryer was waiting for his car. This is still during 2.5 Men. Completely bald.
Oh damn.
Wow.
Did you
I
do a
mean,
double take where you're like, oh wait, is
I
that him?
did. I
Make you do
looked
a
and I kept
double
looking.
take.
And Joni's like, "What are you looking at?" I said, "I think that's John Cryer." And she looked. She goes, "Oh yeah, that is John Cryer." I said, "Well, look at his non-hair.
Shiny head.
His lack of hair.
I mean,
Mr.
like
Clean,
no
Mr.
hair. He
Clean.
was literally like."
a choice.
Is that natural or
One
is it
time-
choice?
No, I think
I
he
don't
was
know.
losing his hair. I think he
Oh.
was. Yeah, I
One
think
time when I was walking to my car at the Galleria, I saw Flavor Flav.
Flava Flav.
Flavor Flav just going Flavor Flav, and he had
Flavolam.
the big clock on.
Was he doing that? Really?
Yeah,
Going
he
Flavor
was.
Flav.
Yeah, he was.
I don't believe
This
it.
was
I
like right before like he did Flavor of Love. So he was
So
looking
then,
So,
So
they
anyway,
just
that's
found
the
him.
literally got
Vivarium.
me no closer to Flavor Flav. I have no idea what you're talking about.
for, huh?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Good. So anyways,
I've seen this movie twice,
Uh-huh.
and what I loved both times was the set design.
I was good. Yeah.
It's so sterile, which adds to the film of it being like clean. It's
Yeah.
too clean, like no love, no warmth whatsoever. It's a house, not a home.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying it has that weird like you said like. It's almost like artificial like lemonade.
Yeah,
You know
even
what I
the
mean?
care.
It's artificial lemonade.
Right, it's like the care packages that get dropped off. It's very like dollhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the clouds. I just kept staring at them.
Okay.
I have
so-
to be honest with you. Oh, good.
What I realized the second time around though, I feel like this is very it takes from a lot of surrealism. Like with in the beginning, most of the film it's very Renee Magritte like paintings and stuff, and then when she fell into the drain, I think, to follow the kid,
Yeah.
it turns into like a very Salvador Dali kind of thing.
Yeah, I like. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
I
what
have to
I
tell
liked a lot.
you, that neighborhood
Hmm.
You'd live there.
didn't look that far off from like Valencia in 1980s.
yeah.
Really?
I mean, a little
That's
more,
scary.
a little more personality.
Exactly. The lack of.
Yeah, a little more personality in Valencia, little more elevation, meaning like some plant life and stuff like that. And just looking at the houses themselves, I mean, it just looks like one of those planned
See?
neighborhoods where every house basically looks the same, but they change it by having brick in the front of this one and wood in the front of this, but it's
Yeah.
exactly the same house.
See what I mean now? Fears of the suburbs.
No, I
Valencia
don't.
in the 80s. I know. And
Valencia in the 80s. Sounds like a
That's-
great
that-
title for a book.
that-
Valencia in the 80s.
Hey, that's awesome town to you.
at night. I'm just kidding. But it's interesting because, and like I said, Sam, I agree that like natural progression, how we're getting the different looks like. I mean, it's very obvious that the first scene at the school is the only scene that was shot on location.
And it's a very normal.
Yeah, and it's a very normal. And then when they move into the suburbs, it's this very sound stage. Like it just everything, like even the sky and everything, just has like that square look to it.
But
When-
aren't they being brought into an alien base, basically? Where
Maybe.
you're just here to raise our child so we can then extinguish you and move that guy. I mean, what else is it?
I think there's nothing more than.
I think
to
that's
that.
all it is.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
mean-
another kind of disappointing thing, honestly.
So you
'cause
just
it's not
don't.
very
So I think.
deep.
I think. I think
Layers
that's,
of metaphors, but not deep.
I think, Dan, you just feel like I think you feel this movie didn't like hit like it missed its landing. You know what I mean? I think you thought
Maybe.
that with the premise and the way it said it, we would get a more deeper understanding,
Maybe.
which we don't get. And I think it's you being like, okay, well, let me now research into this movie, and you're like, yeah, this is kind of out there, but it doesn't. But I think all the theories out are a little too out there where you're like, okay, that's cool that people are thinking about this, but there's no evidence to indicate it. And I think you just want more of an answer of what it is.
I mean,
why.
There's a part of me that thought, like, let's put it in the context of Satellite 12, our group. And let's say Samantha or Frank comes up with an idea.
Who's Samantha?
Sam. Let's say Sam or Frank comes up with an idea like this. So we go, okay, that's a cool idea. But my first thing would be, okay, where are we going? There's got to be more to it than this. Let's flesh this thing out. It's a cool idea, but we got to flesh this out. I feel like this wasn't. It was only fleshed out on a metaphoric sense. It wasn't really fleshed out on the basic storytelling sense.
So do you think,
in my opinion,
do you think it leads a little more to like, oh, it's up to the viewer to interpret?
Oh, for sure.
What happened?
For sure.
I think they gave us a lot of freedom in that.
I think that's what they
but
wanted.
I also get you because, like, right, much like just normal storytelling, you want to know why they did what they did.
A little more depth, a little more
foundation,
a little more understanding,
a little more texture and stuff.
But I think I'm making an excuse for it. But like, it's frustrating. But at the same time, they're also frustrated because they're stuck there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
that
feeling.
Part, yeah.
I think I'm on the same like wavelength as you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was kind of the point. The point was to ask why and not know why.
Mm-hmm.
And
I understand that. I mean,
but
for you, it would have been a lot better if there was some sort
not
of
a lot more, just a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think there was something
more.
missing in that segment where she falls through all the different other iterations.
They should have expanded more.
There was like maybe like some kind of final like
maybe an opportunity.
Yeah,
that was missed
right before she goes back into the house. I feel like there's one more room or thing missing, interaction, what have you, before she gets put into the bag. I think maybe that's what you're missing.
But I do. Sorry.
Yeah.
What?
Do.
Oh. I do think that.
No, but I
what
agree.
Exactly is it that you do?
What would you say you do here? No, but
I agree with you actually.
And I agree, and
I don't
agree with you partially, Dan, in the sense where I feel, because I've seen, and I hate saying this because I can't think of any right now, but I do sometimes you see one movie where you just literally have no idea what's going on, and then the answer is always like, oh, well, it's up to you to determine. It's left open ending and purpose, and I feel like that's always bullshit. And it's like, no, your solution, your solution can always be, oh, it's up to you to decide. There has to be some foundation. But I feel like I leaned a little more towards this one because I feel like, well, yeah, a lot of it is left up to interpretation. There is a very solid, this is the beginning, middle, end. You see what happens with the story. It just doesn't
there's
end.
An arc. There's a total arc in the story. I just feel like there could have been more depth, more to it.
There could have been more. Yeah,
just
I
more
understand
to
that.
It. I mean, think about, and I know I bring this up so often, but I think again, I think it's a good example is like David Lynch. I mean, his movies a lot of times on the surface you're going to say, well, that's a really cool idea that you just turned into a really weird movie, which is a lot of times, in my opinion, what his movies really are. And then a few times he really hits on, like he's 2 or 3 examples. Like, well, that totally worked. I feel like this is like a really cool idea, but I don't think it got weird enough. I mean, it was weird,
no,
yes.
If you're gonna go weird, go weird.
There wasn't enough.
Yeah,
if you're gonna go there, go, baby, just go.
It's too safe.
So
it felt awkwardly safe, but I don't know, but still, I found it very unsatisfying.
But also,
as far as what I thought it was gonna be.
To add to that, the pacing was
weird.
So slow.
It's
very
slow.
weird.
I'll agree.
So slow. Like the second act, it's so repetitive. Like I understand.
I agree.
You're at that point where like, okay, you're stuck and you have to raise this kid. You don't want to, but you have to. But like, I get it. And I wish they would added more to when she fell down and showed all that cycle. Mm-hmm. That would have been better.
I think that is a place in the movie where they did kind of
rush through it,
fail to take us where another place.
That's where they could have gone weirder.
We could have gone.
Yeah.
Which would have taken us to another level in the movie.
That could have gone real bleak. Like honestly, seeing
I do agree with that. Yeah.
That would have really made it more fun.
I mean, look, the art direction was really cool.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. I thought the cinematography generally was really interesting. I have no issue with the acting. I thought the acting was fine. I thought that
you love Jesse Eisenberg.
I thought he was fine in this. I had no issue with really the dialogue. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't great or bad. It was just sort of serving the story. I just think it could have. I don't know. I think we've all said it. I don't need to keep repeating myself.
What do you think the
But
kid? What do you think the kids?
I will at the end. Go ahead.
What is he watching? Like, is it just something to, like, refresh him?
I was like a training video. Like, I'm just kidding.
Wait,
like
what are you talking about?
When he watches TV and it's like those images, like,
Yeah.
is he watching it just to watch it, or does it do something?
I think
I
it's
feel like
feeding
it
him.
does do something because it like the shapes are strange, but if you
Mhm.
notice when Gemma finds that book,
Yeah.
the writing is like kind of in that same vein. It's like weird squiggles. It's
Mhm.
not any particular language.
Yeah.
So it's probably some kind of show, but like for them.
Right. It explains something.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd go more in that, because remember when she was trying to get the answer out of him, like, oh, who did you go see or what you saw? I wish they would spend more time. Like,
Oh, that scene was so creepy when
Yeah.
she's like, "Hey, can you mimic this and then
Mhm.
that?" And
the
they
little thing. Yeah, same. That would have been
gross.
cool.
Balls in your throat.
So
used to
what
that.
was Jesse Eisenberg digging out in the front yard? Really, just his grave? That's
His
it?
grave.
I mean,
I
it
get that as a
came-
metaphor, but what was he actually doing?
I thought he heard something, so he started digging. But then at the same time,
I think he was
I
looking
don't-
for a way out.
I
Like
don't
that too,
remember
but also
any of that.
he found the other body bag.
of the previous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but that's
Well,
that's
if-
what he found. But
if you
that's
think-
not what he was digging
No.
for.
If you think about how he found it in the first place, like everything was perfect, and then he threw the cigarette, and it kind
oh, yeah.
of like.
Doop, bloop.
So I think his thought process was, oh, maybe this is like a way to get, like, circumvent whatever
That's what
they're.
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay. I think
mean,
I
don't
think
know.
I might have missed that
forgot about
moment
that, yeah.
enough to
Yeah.
understand that. That does make sense.
It's
And you
still
were
kind of
saying
like,
that
oh,
too.
where were you gonna dig to, China?
Yeah.
But
I was thinking
like-
that too.
No, but I said like.
but I get
Literally,
it.
wouldn't it
Like,
be great if he got to the bottom? He was like in China.
It turns into a cartoon.
I would watch that.
You would.
I would watch anything.
You really would.
But
Example.
I mean, that might also be another one of those like that. Maybe that's kind of the point. Like he's looking for an out, and
Yeah, like parent. Like
ended
a
up digging his
family.
own grave.
yeah, it's a metaphor, Dan.
And sometimes
I
you
knew
don't
it
need
was.
to know.
I just don't know what
It's
the
based on a
metaphor
play.
was.
Well, Dan,
It's
now
called
you-
Vivarium.
Dan, now you got to watch the movie again, knowing that.
Would you watch it again?
No,
That was so fast. Nah.
I would not watch it
No.
again. I have no need to watch it again.
Yeah.
You got all
What
that
would you
Same
say
with me.
your thoughts that are final are?
Am I going first?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah,
sure,
Dan.
I'm sure my score will be the lowest. I have no doubt about that.
I'll go first then.
Again, I thought the movie, when I watched the movie, I mean, I texted Travis a couple of times while I was watching it. I was not engaged. I mean, I was not enjoying the movie. When I got to the end of the movie, I was like, okay, whatever. But when I started reading about it, again, that's when I went, okay, this is going to be a really cool conversation, which it has been. I think the movie is worthy of a really good conversation, and I wish, in the case of this movie, I wish I would have read about it before I watched it. I think it would have actually been better to do that. I think there are certain times where understanding what you're about to watch is not a bad thing.
Okay.
So, and I think this was a prime example of that. I think I would have had I don't know if I would have liked it a lot more, but I think I would have had a lot more interest, or not, just kind of be more compelled by what I was watching. So, if I were just judging it on just story, I would not give this a very high score. But I'm going to factor in, I thought the acting, and I thought the cinematography, the art direction, all of that stuff I thought was really well done. So that will up my score. And I'm going to give it like a 2.7 out of 5. Hang on, what is it I put? I remember it was
What did I?
somewhat amusing. It was, body bags
Hey.
out of 5. That scene where
Gross.
when he just zips up the
Like it was nothing.
Jesse Eisenberg, the body bag was and then just throws him in the pit.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the scenes where I went, oh whoa, this is rough.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be my 2.7,
That's good.
and most of it is because I think it It's a really good looking movie. I just, the content wise, I needed more.
You needed more.
Okay.
I
To
did.
piggyback off of Dan, I really like the set design in this movie.
Yeah, for sure.
While I agree with a lot of the faults that Dan had with this film, but I don't know, there was just something about the art design, the look of the sky, the look of the neighborhood, the fact that it took place in the suburbs, just the overall look. I don't know why. I was just really compelled by it for just reasons I can't explain. And like I said, for that, I think I was able to overlook, the faults. Maybe, could have. I feel like we could have had more story to it. I don't know if this is a film I would maybe recommend to everyone. I feel like this might just be if I don't know, one day I have like friends over moving, I'll be like, hey, let's like just watch Vivarium.
I'm curious. What would be the basis like for recommending this movie? Who's the don't name a person, but who's the kind of person you would recommend this movie to? You wouldn't recommend it to me.
No, and that's why I said it's hard. Like I feel like basically like I would have recommended it to probably Frank. I already recommended it to Sam. I'll tell you.
people that aren't happy.
No, I'll tell you. I don't know, and that's why I said.
I think
for
Frank's
What are you
happy.
say-
I know you're not happy.
I think for me, it would serve more as if I host a movie night, I'll put on just because I kind of just would want to see more
I
see
people's
the dread.
I'll do
Just
my
hang on.
own.
I think that's that's legit. Like you're gonna host a movie night. This is a legit movie to host.
well,
I
know
think
what I
it needs. I
hosted
think it
for
needs
my movie night?
context though. It would need
Hey,
context.
you know what we'll do?
I hosted a Serbian film.
Yeah.
You
A
sick
Serbian
puppy.
film?
Don't look that up, Dan. I said,
I'm not gonna-
Dan,
I'm not gonna
I'll
watch
have
that.
my
We're
own.
watching it next week.
No,
Hey.
I'll have my own Vivarium watching the people watching. I'll have my
It's
own
like a regular
observations.
Truman Show.
But yeah, no.
I can see doing that, but I really feel like you would have to set the movie up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It would not be fair to do what you did to me.
And I would
blind
probably
Which is just make me watch with nothing.
Yeah,
to
no,
go
I would
on.
have to suck up.
Agreed.
But and as far as openness goes, Dan, I want to tell you about I think one of the worst example of an open-ended film. There's a film that came out in 2012 called The Devil Inside.
I've heard of it actually.
Okay, so basically the movie ends in the middle of the climax. The film just ends, and there's a text on screen that says, to figure out what happens next, or if I'm go on this website. And you had to pay to go see the movie, and the movie just ends. It goes to find out what happens next, visit this website.
Were they just out of budget?
I have no idea.
Did you go to the website?
No. I only knew about it.
Really?
'cause
I would have gone to the website.
No. Okay, Dan, let me explain because I say this, but I've actually never seen the entire film. I was working at the
Oh,
theater.
it sounds like it ends in
Dan,
the middle.
No, Dan, I was working at the theater at the time, so I would have to exit greet the films.
The Devil Inside?
Or wasn't it? Wasn't
I
it The
have
Devil
heard of that
Inside?
movie.
I think it is.
I
that
know
one.
I've heard of that movie.
I don't remember that movie at all.
Yeah, it just that's why, because everyone hated it. Like, and I just remember because I would have to go in the movies before they ended because I'd like exit
It
greet.
is.
Yeah, and I remember seeing that.
Was it at AMC?
It was. Yeah, it was that. It was everywhere. It got a wide release.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, I remember that cover.
It says the title card is shown informing
I
that
just
the
know
case.
the title. I don't remember the movie. I never saw
Because it looks like
I remember
Johnny
the
Depp.
poster.
It looks like Johnny.
Yeah. Okay, finish your thought.
I know that's it. And I'll
So
give.
what's your score?
I think I'll do. Mine was like a 3.3.
It's like he's thinking back. Mine, I think. What was I?
No,
doing?
because
It was
mine was 3.3 Young Sheldon.
Is that the same actor?
No.
He
He
just gave
did
off
look
that
like him,
vibe.
didn't he?
Yeah.
And 3.3 Young Sheldon.
That's a fair score. Sam?
I agreed with you a lot. I think, and everybody agrees. The set design was one of the better parts of the film.
Super. Great art direction.
The lowest part for me was the pacing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it was
For
slow.
sure.
I found myself on my phone a lot during this movie. And also, I don't know if you remember, but when this was announced, I also was dreading it because I remember the pacing being so slow. So I already knew what I was getting myself into.
So Sam and I hung out yesterday. We watched Nora, and we were saying, oh yeah, we gotta watch this movie. And I remember at one point I looked at Sam. I was like, Sam, do you just want to like pull a Band-Aid? Because I remember we had to finish VHS Beyond.
Yeah.
So I was like, Sam, do you just want to like watch Vivarium now to get it over with?
And I told him
Did
no because
you?
I would fall asleep.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, because I would fall
There
asleep.
was a whole issue. Like I'll explain it after.
I think I'm gonna see if Jose wants to watch Anora tomorrow.
It's so good.
Oh, Anora is great.
Dan, I think you'd
It's
like it
so
too.
excited.
You and
Anora-
Joni
Is it
should go
out
watch
now?
it. Oh yeah,
Yes.
you and Joni should
What
go.
is it?
I'll explain it
Oh
in
yeah,
this.
hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, go.
Anora is if the Safdie brothers.
Well, okay, not really, but
I know.
go.
It's like if the Safdie brothers did Pretty Woman.
Do you know this movie, Joni and Nora? I've never heard of
It's
it.
about
I-
this sex worker that
I love watching the trailer. I'll just
it's-
show him
it's
the
a good-
trailer
yeah.
after. It's such
I've
a
never
fun
seen
trailer
the
to
It's
trailer.
watch.
about a
It's
sex
so fun.
worker that got in a relationship with this rich kid who's like part of the Russian. We don't know what they do, but
Oligarch.
Oh.
yeah,
Well, let's watch the trailer after the podcast.
yeah, but it's really good.
It's really good.
cool. All right, so
Yes, so then,
Sam, yes.
Pacing extremely slow. I don't think. And again, I said a lot, but I feel like they're trying to make you feel the same frustration as the characters, which I didn't like because it just didn't explain anything. So for me, I'm gonna give it a very low 3 out of 3 clouds out of 5.
That's
I like
cute.
the clouds.
Thank you.
What
So
does a
did I.
cloud look like?
Clouds.
It just looks
Oh,
like a
wow.
cloud, which is weird. Which I thought was funny at the time. Like, well, what are clouds supposed? But then, yeah, you're right. Clouds are supposed to look like things, and those just look like clouds. Frank,
What? What do you want?
I want you to just swing
Give it,
for the
give it,
fences, my
give it.
friends.
All right,
friend.
here it comes. Here it comes.
Tell us why we're all wrong.
Like the meme with the twister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I kind of forgot like the end. So I had forgotten that there was like that feeling of something missing, because I remember going really weird when she goes underneath the drain, and I was like, oh,
I forgot about
we'll have some interesting like conversations.
That was weird.
I wish they had done more of that stuff.
Yeah.
Of
Like,
course.
like I wanted to see
Absolutely.
everything unravel in the end. But I think we still got like good discussion out of it. Like the idea of like the brood parasitism, like as a thing, is so weird that I think it's cool that they made a movie like surrounding that. I like wish they would have gone more into that too. But I think they did really well for having such a small budget. I think it was like $4 million.
Yeah, it was. It was very low.
Really low. But they did really good with the performances, with the set design, the cinematography and the lighting. Like, there's ways that you can make that money stretch, and I think they did a really good job of doing that. And maybe that's why I'm a little like forgiving about the fact that they couldn't do more, because they had, they were restrained by budget. That's not an excuse, but
But I'm just saying, I think for like agree with Frank, like a small movie like this was not a big movie when it was
No.
released. I agree. I think it made like I said, none of us had heard of it, and I don't think it was necessarily like the pandemic that like kind of crippled its release.
I don't either.
Like I think it was very much.
This movie had no
It was very much a
widespread
small
appeal
movie.
at all.
yeah, it was
to
probably
begin with,
never
and I
going to
think
be.
for
no.
that-
This was
yeah.
never going to be a mainstream movie. No way.
But I'm glad that they made it. I enjoyed it. Like you, I don't know that I would go back and rewatch it by myself, but in a group setting, I probably wouldn't warn people about what it is. I'd just put it on because I like doing that to people.
Like example A.
Yeah, but but yeah, I think it makes for interesting conversation, and for viewing, like the pacing is kind of like but every once in a while it's fine to have like a movie that's like slow paced.
Before you give your score, though, when you're saying over the however many podcasts we've done, many, over 100, I'm sure.
Season 3.
We have seen some really good movies, like where we all go, yeah, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't necessarily make for great conversation.
No,
I find that a lot of times it's the more offbeat, sort of maybe hit and miss, but wow, what a crazy or interesting concept this was. Makes for the better conversations. And that's
Yeah.
how I felt after I watched this movie. I went, Really didn't care that much for the movie.
Right.
Can't wait to talk about it, and I'm excited actually to
and-
talk about it.
And,
I
and
agree.
that's
And
what
I think that's cool.
and that's why it was like the group dynamic of like the 4 people where I said it's very much, we kind of get the unrehearsed kind of like water cooler discussion
Yeah.
of this content. And that's what I said. And I feel like, and I always like that dynamic, with the podcast. And I feel like it's like, yeah, what does everyone really need to say? What do they want to say about it?
Yeah. I mean,
Travis, you're going off
agree.
script.
So, Frank, what's your score?
My score will be 3.5.
Wow.
We're all dancing around the same
Yeah.
score.
3 point. Yeah, that's what it was gonna be. It's gonna
Is
be
it really?
3.5 out of 5.
That kid could scream, right?
That was disturbing.
It made me never want to have children again. I couldn't anyway.
I
It would
think
make
that
me-
was the point of the.
Well, Dan, so that thing I found out in the free was yours? In the free stuff?
What the hell are you talking about?
The sperm test.
The sperm test was
Oh, I
yours?
love that. I love that. Okay.
He was
Well,
waiting
this has
for
been
it to-
this has been a freaking great conversation.
Too bad we'll never have it
So
again.
much fun. What are we watching next week, Frank?
Next week we're watching
To be continued.
Scream 7? I can't wait.
2007's Sunshine. Danny Boyle's
Ooh,
Sunshine.
Wait. Which one's
Huh?
Sunshine?
2007 Danny Boyle
Plot,
film.
real quick.
The sun is dying,
The sun is dying.
so they need to restart it.
Oh.
Oh,
Yes.
that's not the Sunshine.
No.
I was thinking of the
Sunshine
Emily
Cleaning?
Blunt movie, where they clean up dead bodies.
Sunshine Cleaner.
That's what I said. Sunshine cleaner.
Sunshine Cleaners.
That was that's not
Cleaners.
That's
Oh,
not the
Cillian
title. I
Murphy?
don't think.
Celiners.
Cillian Murphy?
Yes.
Cillian Murphy? Okay, fine.
Wait, you've never
Sunshine.
seen it?
No.
Oh, fun. I can't wait. Chris
Two-
Evans is in it too, and Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah.
2007.
Auntie's
Sunshine?
in it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. When I first watched this movie, it was glitched.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's
Yeah.
actually how it is.
No, it's not.
Oh, Alex
think so.
Garland wrote it?
Yes,
yeah,
he did.
Alex
Oh,
and Danny
wow.
Boyle directed it.
Did
Yes.
Roger Garland have anything to do with it?
Yes.
I think it was the movie he did right
Is
before
Alex Garland's
Slumdog, right?
brother?
Yeah, it was this movie right before Slumdog. But with that
Was
said,
that
Millionaire?
his movie before
Yeah.
Slumdog?
I think it was his movie.
remember the episode in The Office where they redid Sunshine?
No,
Because
No.
when they do Slumdog. Anyways.
I don't know. All right.
All right, I'll
This
see you
has
all.
been wonderful. So much fun. Yes, I'm trying to get you to stop talking.
That'll never happen.
Share us, like us, review us,
Don't tell me what it is.
talk to your friends about us.
Talk to your enemies.
What else can you do? Just let the world know that Strangers in the Alps, a movie podcast, is out there and ready to party with you. I'm
4
Dan.
more
I'm
years.
Travis.
Sam.
I'm Frank.
And we are
Out.
out.